cut to the chase. Everyone give me some space. Don't fall out, we fall into place. Every step walking with grace, amen. Keeping my foot off the brakes. Impact, I'm ready to brace. We fall down and land on our face, just to get up and finally escape. Wait, boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in the grave. They live through the story they made, okay? Boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in the grave. Hey, legends don't die anyway. I was working on a play today. Body bags covered away. I paved, zipped up like a bathing ape. How many of us then came and stayed? Not too many. I've been staying awake to get it and get right on every mistake. I give them a bite, they taking a plate. It's all been a feeling that I couldn't shake. So I just keep killing till I'm at the gates. We straight, we treat them like worms in a lake. They bake, just give me a drum and a bass. I skate and grind till I'm numb in the face, okay? Don't fuck up my day. Don't talk about clutch, I got ice in my veins. I'm coated in Trey, I stick to the code. I'm glitching the game. I do anything for the win at the end of the day. I gotta cut to the chase. Everyone give me some space. Don't fall out, we fall into place. Every step walking with grace, amen. Keeping my foot off the brakes. Impact, I'm ready to brace. We fall down and land on our face, just to get up and finally escape. Wait, boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in the grave. They live through the story they made, okay? Boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in the grave. Legends don't die anyways. Boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in the grave. They live through the story they made, okay? Boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in the grave. Legends don't die anywhere.
Welcome into another edition of On the Marks. I am Jason Marks. Glad to be back. I know it's been a tumultuous couple of weeks where I haven't been on when I said I would be consistently on. Well, had a few bumps in the road that I had to get taken care of, but good to be back and good to be on a little bit later this evening rather than the noon slate where, everybody could be at lunch or still at work, but everybody's getting settled in at home. There's Little League World Series going on right now, but, could be cooking dinner, whatever you're doing. But if you have taken the time to join us, I gratefully appreciate that. And we're getting close, guys. We're getting close. We are getting close to actually talking about football on the field. I know, it's hard to believe. But for the next week or so, there are some things off the field that have been discussed, and we will discuss a couple of them, like the obvious ruling by the NCAA against Michigan for the sign stealing scandal. And speaking of the Big Ten, where it wasn't enough for Tony Batiti, the Big Ten commissioner, to have one bad idea when it comes to the college football playoff. But he decided to double down on an even dumber idea. And we'll get into that as well. And there are some changes in the rule book in 2025, and two of them are obvious and stand out the most. And we'll get into that as well. But you can follow me on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all the social media platforms except X, because screw Elon, at On the Marks Media. I made it very simple for you for all platforms, Instagram as well, at On the Marks Media. You can follow all of my content on all the major platforms. Well, let's get right into it. And the first thing that comes out of the gate is, Michigan's punishment for sign stealing and the Connor Stallions scandal, which a lot of people were hoping for the head on the pike, but there are also people like me and probably you who also live in reality and know that probably wasn't going to happen. That it was wishful thinking, that the hammer would be laid down, the national championship from 2023 would be vacated. Well, probably Ohio State fans were probably hoping for that more than anything, but most of us, sane people, and not all Ohio State fans are insane. There are some of them that have a little bit of sanity to them. But most sane people probably looked at this and said, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. And why? Well, because number one, the NCAA has become an afterthought in these first couple of years of this new era in college football. And it really snowballed when the Supreme Court smacked down the NCAA with the help of the attorneys general from the state of my home state, Tennessee, and the state of, the Commonwealth of Virginia, let me get that right, where those attorneys general decided to sue the NCAA and bring it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court just smacked them down. And the NCAA just finally said, you know what? We're tired of this. And now the two big things, well, I don't know if you call them big or not, but yes, Calvin, mom's home. But Michigan, the thing that infuriated me was not for the fact that Michigan was sign stealing. What infuriated me the most was how they didn't cover their tracks. like how sloppy it was. Like even, listen, Jim Harbaugh, when it comes to finding a loophole, is an absolute master of finding loopholes within the rules. Everybody remember the satellite camps from a couple of years ago when Jim Harbaugh basically set up these camps in SEC country, and SEC coaches and fans got all hot and bothered because he was creeping in on their territory, which Nick Saban, Gus Malzahn, who was the coach at Auburn at the time, or any SEC coach could have went up to Detroit. They could have went to Indiana. They could have went anywhere in Big Ten country and held a satellite camp, and I would have been fine with it. But the SEC complained enough to the point now satellite camps are an afterthought. But I say that to say this. Connor Stallions found a strategy to get an upper hand. Jim Harbaugh found the loophole thought he found the loophole in the rule. But Connor Stallions, show cause, 8 to 10 years. Jim Harbaugh, show cause for 10 years. He's in the NFL. He doesn't give a crap. He doesn't care. But Michigan is going to lose postseason revenue, not postseason ban, which some people were sitting here as like, okay, postseason ban, but they still get to play in a playoff. Well, it's a postseason ban on revenue, which could be anywhere from $20 to $30 million, which that seems like a lot of money. And maybe to programs like Michigan, it's not as much compared to what we think it is. Which Michigan is appealing the ruling, maybe trying to get that $20 to $30 million back. But haven't we looked at punishments in the past when it comes to the NCAA? Let me get a sip of them. And have said that the people who were doing wrong were no longer in the program, and the kids that are there were the ones getting punished for it, when in fact the actual offenders were able to skedaddle away from it. I kind of felt like this is what happened. The people who were punished, who were involved, are punished. Jim Harbaugh, Connor Stallions. Sharon Moore is getting a suspension for 1 game next season, even though they have a self-imposed 2-game suspension for, I think, like games 3 and 4 for Michigan this season. So the ones that are involved have been punished, and the kids that are there now are not having to deal with the blowback. That's one way of looking at it. The other way to look at this is it was almost kind of like a meeting in the middle, where the NCAA wasn't going to go all gung-ho on a Power 5 program or Power 4 now, which may have a chance to contend for the college football playoff this season, especially with a lot of hype coming in when it comes to the incoming freshman 5-star quarterback in Bryce Underwood. Now, if this were Coastal Carolina or an Arkansas State, then yes, I feel like the NCAA would have come down on them. Because Coastal Carolina, Arkansas State, they may not have the means to be able to battle this in a legal realm. Because how many times has the NCAA been smacked down by major colleges in the last decade. And the NCAA is also taking a back seat. Like, as far as investigations go, this is probably the last one that you're going to see from them. Like anything major, especially NIL, transfer portal. The NCAA is probably going to be relegated back to dealing with gambling scandals or something to that. Or maybe punishing the smaller schools because maybe they have a little teeth with them, which they have absolutely none. And by the way, the NCAA can thank Mark Emmert for that. They can thank him for that. Because ever since he got into the president's seat with the NCAA, we kind of saw this happening. Where the major conferences were able to just walk all over them. And he let them get away with it. And here we are. Now, there's like a college sports commission or something like that. Could be the governing body. Congress could maybe do something, but right now they're dodging from voting on the Epstein files or some shit. Whatever they're doing. But nobody sees this as a major punishment. It's a slap on the wrist, yeah. Yeah, it was. But again, Connor Stalions saw something he could take advantage of. Jim Harbaugh exploited it himself. But the thing about it is, they couldn't cover their tracks. They did the most terrible job of covering their tracks. That's why they're getting punished. That's why they got caught. And it's infuriating to me. It's infuriating me the fact that they were so sloppy. But losing $20 million, a couple of scholarship reductions, which probably won't matter. Harbaugh can't coach in college football for 10 years. He doesn't care. Connor Stalions can't coach for 8 years, which I don't think anybody cares. And Sharon Moore is getting suspended for a game next season, while Michigan is going to appeal the decision. Speaking of the Big Ten, Tony Petitti, remember him? Big Ten commissioner who proposed that awful 16-team format with the automatic qualifiers. 4 for the SEC, 4 for the Big Ten, 2 for the Big 12, 2 for the ACC. And then just a couple of at-large bids. Oh, yeah, and don't forget the Group of 5 conference champion. Well, if that idea wasn't bad enough, he came up with another one. A 24 to 28 team playoff. Now, could there be, and I heard this, I watched Josh Pate's show the other night, talking about this could be just a PR strategy to where you come up with such a terrible idea that the initial terrible idea that you had doesn't seem as bad. Well, that may fool some people. It doesn't fool me. They're both terrible. Terrible. And think about it. 24 teams, and we have a top 25. At the end of last season, could you think of a team that finished ranked from 15 to 25 that you would have considered a national championship contender? If your answer is other than no, you can't, then I can't help you. Because asinine, listen, 16 I think will be inevitable. But we need to stop there. Enough is enough at 16. Just stop it at 16. For the love of God, just stop. Stop coming up with proposals for 20 and 32. I've heard Eli Drinkowitz talking about. Just stop. Stop it. It's asinine on its face. You're like, Well, the NFL has so many. The NFL only has 32 teams in their league. We're talking about an FBS entirely over 130 teams, and they're adding more each year. Stop it. 12 is fine to me. 16 feels inevitable to me, which is okay. If you keep the same format with which the 16-team playoff, you wouldn't need a bye. But keep the Power Four conference champs, best of group of 5, and let everybody duke it out for their own. Which is interesting enough that I thought that this initial awful proposal by Tony Petitti would been proposed by Greg Sankey. So I owe an apology to Greg Sankey and the SEC, because this seems like something that they would do if you talk to some of their fans who feel like a college football playoff spot is some sort of birthright, which is not. But why not just keep it simple? I understand that there's some business aspects that come to college football. I understand. But it gets to the point where sometimes maybe business needs to just take a back seat from the sport and from what makes that sport special. Because I'll tell you this, and I'm going to sound like an old man, I miss the regional flavors of the Southeast, the Midwest, the West Coast. It's almost kind of like barbecue sauces, types of food, types of barbecue. You have Memphis barbecue, you have St. Louis barbecue, Texas barbecue. Like sauces, Alabama white sauce, Carolina Gold, Carolina mustard. Delicious, by the way. New York style pizza, Chicago deep dish. Like, everybody has some kind of special flair within a region. And all that's been kind of gone away because now you have these mega conferences where now the Big Ten has expanded. A little bit West Coast, maybe some fish tacos thrown in with some of that Midwest cuisine. You've got a little bit of Midwest in the SEC and a little Southwest in the SEC. I miss it. I understand that change is inevitable. But in this case, and like with the playoff proposal, sometimes simpler is better. It's okay to be simple. A 12-team playoff with buys to the top 4 teams, automatic bids for Power 4 conference champions, best of group of 5, and then you have the rest that are at large. Simple. Or a 16-team playoff where you just seeded by the college football playoff rankings, with bubbles being burst, with upsets in the conference championship game. Possibility. It's okay to keep it simple. You don't have to expand it. You don't have to give an automatic qualifier to a conference because they have more money and they have a better marketing department. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is just keep it simple. This is not simple. 24-28. I didn't even look at the format. Like, I didn't even read about the format. All I saw was the headline, 24-2018 playoff, and I said, no thank you. That's all I had to see. Like, not even keep an open, no. 24-28 is asinine on its face. I didn't even have to look at it. My decision was already made. It's terrible. Keep it simple. That's all you have to do. I know that's difficult in the business world of things, because like I've said before, I am a true capitalist. I don't believe in this fascist masquerade of capitalism. Like, I'm a true capitalist. Go out there, earn it. It's not going to get handed to you. Just earn it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And speaking of changes, a couple of new rules in 2025, which one of them I understand. But the question that I ask, Andrew, I was talking about the Big Ten's new playoff proposal, which was dumb. Now I'm talking about some new rule changes for college football in 2025. The faking of injuries, which, by the way, college football fans, as much shit as I have heard you talk about soccer with the flopping, the last couple of years y'all haven't had room to talk. As we had seen over and over again, faking of injuries to slow down the momentum of an offense at a crucial point in the game. And then you have the flop. It came to college football. But at least they're trying to get rid of it, because now the proposal is, if you're faking an injury, either you lose a timeout or you get a delay of game penalty if you are out of timeouts, which I'm fine with. But my question is, who's going to find that loophole in the rule? Let's go back to the loopholes. Who's going to find that loophole? And why do I believe it's Lane Kiffin? Why do I believe it? Because some would argue that this rule was made because of him. Some would argue that. Some would put other faces and names to it as well. But Lane Kiffin seems to be the popular one. So I'm curious, heading into this season, how is Lane Kiffin, or what loophole is Lane Kiffin going to find to get around this? Or who is going to find, or somebody else who could find that loophole? And then now the overtime, there's some changes in overtime, which, again, going back to me being old school, I didn't like the fact that they changed the overtime. I thought it was fine the way that it was. Some people just got mad because they probably betted the under on an LSU Texas A&M game that went to 8-9 overtimes, and both teams finished with 70 points, and they got all butthurt about it and said, we need to make a change. This ain't fair for gambling. If you would have predicted that both of those teams would have scored 70 points in that night, then I will call you for a free tarot reading, because apparently you could predict the future. But it did lead to some changes in the overtime rules, which led to was the equivalent of college football penalty kicks, which an Iron Bowl was decided by that one year. But there is one interesting change, and I actually kind of like it. So after the third overtime, each team is only awarded one timeout. Usually in the past, it was one timeout per overtime period. But it got annoying where timeouts were called in the middle of a fourth overtime. I get that. But now there's a little strategy to it, because when it gets to the third overtime, you've got only one the rest of the way. And I kind of like it. It speeds up the game, and coaches have to go to the drawing board a little bit. So I like it. Really? They could have just kept overtime the way that it was many, many moons ago. Because to me, it was the best. It superseded the NFL overtime. And I have no problem with the NFL overtime. But the college football overtime was fantastic. The way that it was. Because everybody still remembers that LSU Texas A&M game. People my age remember the Arkansas-Tennessee game from the early 2000s. Or Alabama-Tennessee, which I think it was 2003, I think it was. 2003, 2004, one of those years. Where it went to 8 overtimes and Tennessee won in Tuscaloosa 51-43 when the game ended in regulation in a 13-13 tie. Those were memorable moments. Which I don't have a problem with the penalty kicks or the 2-point conversions after certain amount of overtimes. But I felt like that was something that didn't really need to be changed. It didn't happen that often. But they did anyway. And now they've added a little bit more to it. Now, heading into third overtime, you get only one timeout. That's going to do it for this edition of On the Marks. I will be back on Friday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Throughout the week, I will have some shorts, reels, some content for you throughout the week as we go on. But we're getting close, guys. We're getting closer to not just college football season, but football season in general. And maybe Friday I'll talk a little bit more about what I thought of Shedeur Sanders' preseason performance, and maybe he's trying to now rather say that he's legendary. Maybe he's actually going to go out and try and prove it. That's going to do it. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads for all the latest content from me. Thank you, everybody who watched this evening, and we'll see you again on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central.